Steph, good to go?
Steph?
Yep, good to go.
Steph on the injured?
He was listed as probable because we have to list him or something. He'll be good.
The question surprised me, but I forgot about the
Yeah.
protocol. Everybody's questionable every day.
Yeah. Any through lines that you've noticed with the slow starts the past few games?
The Atlanta game they scored 40 in the first quarter, so it didn't feel like we were ready to go. The other games, honestly, we're getting good looks. We're not really turning it over. I think we'll be fine. I think shots are bound to go in here. We've just shot it poorly and haven't gotten off to good starts, but it's definitely a point of emphasis. We talked about it at our meeting today and I practiced yesterday. Best way to get off to a good start is with your defense. You can't worry about shots going in or not, but you can lock in on the game plan, get stops, and get out in transition, and that can be the focus. I think that's an easier way to go.
That group that started last game and that's been starting when healthy, 10-0 now. Just what have you liked about the way that group's come together?
Well, it's the group complements each other well. You got the playmaking of BP and Jimmy. You've got the shooting of Moses and Steph, and Draymond anchoring everything. It's a small group, obviously, but pretty dynamic offensively. We can run stuff through Jimmy, through Steph, through Draymond. It's kind of a modern NBA lineup. But it's not without its challenges too, especially against certain matchups, size-wise. So 10-0 is 10-0, so we'll keep running it out there. But I am mindful of the matchups.
I guess Chris Paul is kind of a knock on wood question, but he's on pace to play in all 82 games, and I don't think anybody age 40 has ever, 39 or older has ever done that. Just what do you make of his longevity and his ability to get on the floor every game this year?
Chris is amazing. I loved coaching him last year. Just his IQ, his competitive desire, his commitment to the game itself, to the team, to his craft. I mean, it was a joy coaching him and watching him work every day. And more than anything, he loves to play basketball. And I think that was the thing last year that I found is he wanted to play all 48, and I couldn't quite do that, but I admired that about him. And he had a great run for us last year, and then I think broke his hand and missed about 20 games. But he prepares himself to play every single night. I hope he plays these last 8 or 9 that they have left.
I mean, based on what you just said, would you be surprised if he gives it another go next year?
Oh, he's playing next year. Yeah. I haven't asked him, but just judging from what I know of Chris, he's playing next year.
Think you make a pretty good coach?
Yeah. Chris would be an amazing coach. Incredible feel for the game, emotional intelligence, curiosity. He'd be a great coach, and I'd be shocked if he didn't go into it because of how much he loves the game. We can't stay away from it. Those of us who are obsessed with the game like this, we just can't stay away.
The San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame is inducting the '99 Spurs team this year. What stands out most to you about it? Sean was telling me that everyone on that team, for him, in his mind, was on the same page, committed, had the same sense of purpose. Mm-hmm. Is that how you saw it as well?
Yeah, what I remember about that season was we started 6-8, and there were calls for Pop's job, believe it or not. I mean, it was before, the run really started. He was so calm and measured. And it was a weird year because it was the lockout, but that team was just dominant defensively. It was before the three-point era kicked in. We started David and Tim. They just guarded the rim like crazy. And we were methodical. We weren't very dynamic offensively, but methodical and just nasty defensively. And we had a lot of guys who really came through, in the playoffs. Jaren Jackson had a great playoff run. Mario Elie, of course, Avery. fun to be a part of that team and to see it all come together. And that was, like I said, that was really kind of the first year of the dynasty, or whatever you want to call it.
With Elie and Kersey and yourself, that veteran leadership, what did that bring to the group?
I don't think I brought a whole lot to the group.
Kersey and Elie brought a toughness, though.
They did, yeah. I remember Jerome was pissed off after one game and ripped out a bathroom stall in the locker room. That was a very strong man. But there was, it was very intentional, I think, Pop and RC from the very beginning to bring in a quality of player, but also competitor, human being. And I think Pop was ahead of his time in that regard, and RC both, just recognizing what wins, what kind of person wins. And obviously you have to have the cornerstones like we did with Tim and David. But once you have that, you build around it with experience, wisdom, skill, leadership. And I thought that was a really well constructed team.
Starting fast was a point of emphasis yesterday. Just what did you like what did you like the most about the way you guys came out in that first quarter?
Yeah, I think we put it on our own hands. We didn't wait on the rhythm to come to us. We went and found it ourselves. We played faster. We started faster. Defense was the key to it, stopping it from scoring. But then we was able to get out in transition and get a couple easy layups, points.
Yeah, I mean, live ball turnovers seem to ignite some pace. Just what does pace do for you guys offensively when you're able to play that fast?
It does a lot. That good defense can be offense. Just that way, turning the ball over. Now we getting easy layups on the other end, and what that does to the morale of the team and the flow of the game has a lot to do with later on in the game. Just that we was able to establish that early on.
It's been a while since you guys have had a wire-to-wire kind of dominant victory like this. What kind of confidence can you take from this, knowing the stretch of games and how crucial these next few are that you guys are going to play?
It was definitely good to get this type of game in right now for us to be able to come out and dominate the way that we did for as long as we did, put a whole game together. It was cool to see that that's the team that we are. That's what we were able to do. So it was cool to do.
I know all these games have been super significant with where you guys are at in the standings for the last few weeks there, but now Memphis directly above you guys in the standings, the Lakers, Denver, a chance to cut into some of these leads that these teams have ahead of you guys. How do you view this next stretch of games coming up, starting with the one on Tuesday?
Yeah, it's a sprint to the finish. That's what it is right now. So it's hard for me to pay attention to what the other teams are doing. If somebody wins, somebody loses, whatever. I just know if we win, then stuff's going to go out how we want it to. So focusing on that, winning the next game, winning the game after that, just sprinting to the finish.
What was it like seeing Loon knock down that triple?
Man, I was excited to see it. Well, y'all know that's what Loon did back in the day. That's the player that he was in high school and college, and it's been really cool for me to see somebody like him be able to get to the NBA and find a different road, change what he does, and to conform and find his place. And that's what he's been able to do, and I respect him and I respect that so much. But to see him go back to his old ways for the corner three ball was cool tonight.
Cool.
Appreciate you, Mo.
Nice.
Moses, the physicality that you bring, what you do at both ends, what would you tell your rookie self, knowing what you've known and been through, all the situations you've been through?
It's a good question. I would tell my rookie self that you're right. Keep doing what you're doing, keep working, keep getting better, taking the criticism, figuring out ways to get on the court, because eventually you'll be there and all the stuff that you're doing and working on is going to pay off.
On that note, what do you think has most contributed to your two-way surge?
I've been working on technique, so the way that you move laterally, footwork, stance, knowing when you can be more aggressive. So I think it's been more figuring things out than even as much hard work.
Thank you.
Moses, I was watching you playing defense, and you guard the. I'm from NBA Rakuten from Tokyo. I'm Chris Sasaki. I was watching your eyes, especially on the ball. And where is your eyes focused on, especially when you're guarding the opponent's main ball handler?
I try to focus on the hips because you can move, you can do fake moves or whatever, but whatever your hips say you're going, that's where you're going. Also try to time the dribble sometimes because you kind of pick up on the rhythm and the cadence. So that's how you can get some of them pokes and steals when you just reading, you know when the ball is hitting the floor, when it's in his hand. So you can read the cadence on that.
Your eyes weren't moving that much. It seemed like you were kind of like trying to see the big picture. Is that how you approach it? Like just the hips?
On ball?
On ball, yeah.
I'm always looking at something. So sometimes I'm looking at the hips. Sometimes I'm timing the dribble. Those are usually the two things I'm looking at when I'm on ball. But maybe I'm looking at both. Yeah.
When you talk about improving your lateral quickness, how do you do that? It can't just be like, it's got to be more than just doing a million defensive slides.
Yeah, that's why I say it's more figuring stuff out than even hard work. Watching other guys, Stack has been talking to me a lot, as well as AD and Rick on the strength staff, but just figuring out, if your feet are too wide, then sometimes it's harder to move laterally, even though that you wouldn't think that, but if you're closer together, then you can step faster, you can move faster, but figuring things out like that, I think has been the biggest difference rather than doing a million defensive slides.
And what was the key tonight just defensively, holding them to 94 points as a team?
Pressure. We had a good game plan going in. Shout out to my man Everett, who had the scouts tonight. So we had a good game plan going into the game, and we executed it. Ball pressure picking up, as well as the help behind ball pressure. Draymond guarded Cat really well, as well as helping everybody else on defense. It was a team effort, and it was a good one.
How valuable are reps like this or games like this for you guys against another top team, slow pace, kind of, playoff basketball stylistically? How valuable is that at a time like this in the season?
Extremely valuable. Every rep that we can get as a team is beneficial for us. We haven't had as much time together, but we're seeing a lot of different good teams that play different ways, and we're able to adapt and come out with wins, and that's what the playoffs is about.